Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is the end of the work week. The weekend is here. Some of you might be home today because it is a holiday, Juneteenth. And so if you are home, I hope you're enjoying the day off. And this is In the Raw, unscripted, unpracticed, unedited conversation. We've been talking about the father's legacy. Being that this weekend we will celebrate Father's Day. So we've been talking about what it means to be a father that leaves a legacy, just like our Father in heaven has given us his legacy. And we based, sorry, my sinuses are active this morning. We based it on Psalms 123 verses 3 and 4. It says, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth." And so we extracted, for lack of a better word, two different principles from this verse. And one of them is that we fight for their future. As fathers, we fight for our children's futures. That's how we can leave a legacy. And we talked about that in the last video, so you can go back and look at that and where we talk about fighting for children's future. And the other principle is we give direction to their future. Once we fight for their future, we also give direction to their future. You know, I'm an educator, and in more than 26 years in that profession, I have seen a sad truth. There's a great number of young people living without direction. I mean, I've seen it year in, year out. You know, they live without purpose, without direction. And in my opinion, I think we as parents are responsible for this. The wisest man in history gives us advice on this. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." Proverbs 22:6. That was written by Solomon, the wisest man to ever live. And throughout history, humans have used the bow and arrow as a weapon to fight and defend themselves. Historians say that the bow is one of the longest standing weapons in history. There's evidence that it's been used for more than 4,000 years. And this is due to its effectiveness and precision, which it projects the arrow. But it's not the bow that makes it a powerful weapon. The use of the bow requires skill, precision, and concentration to be able to hit the target effectively. It is the archer who gives effectiveness to the bow. God has put a bow in our hands to give direction to our children. So how do we do this? Well, this is what I've observed and learned in almost close to 40 years as a father. First is enjoy family. Sociologists say that family is one of the most important and main institutions. Family is where people are raised to be productive members of society. If there's something that distinguishes Hispanic families and other cultures as well, but I'm a Hispanic, so that's what I'm going to speak to. Hispanic families in this country and in many others is the strong sense of family unity. God established and has given a great importance to family through his word. The success of humanity is determined in the family. It is necessary to continue giving value to the family if we're going to project our children in the right direction. The other thing we should do is promote proper relationships. There's a saying in Spanish, "Tell me who you are with, and I will tell you who you are." If we're going to give them the right direction, we must teach our children to choose the people with whom they will associate, to choose them wisely. You know, we as humans learn to relate in the context of family. Our children must receive an appropriate model of how to treat others in the context of home. They should learn how a wife or a husband is treated by watching their parents. The other thing that I've observed is that growth is permanent. Something that marks the lives of our children is when they see us grow. There's something very powerful when we admit to our mistakes and we ask for forgiveness. especially when we do it with them. They see that we're not perfect parents, and that we're still growing. It's a lifelong matter. It happens, throughout our life. I've had to tell my children early on, I've never been a father of children. After that, I've never been a father of adolescents. And now I tell them I've never been a father of adult children. I've never been a father of married children. And I've never been a father of children who have children. And it goes on. We must always be growing. Growing is a lifelong activity. And we need to make sure that they know that. And the other thing that I've learned is that we cannot faint or become weary as parents, as fathers. The Apostle Paul says in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not grow weary, therefore, of doing good, because in due time we will reap if we do not faint." I know there are moments when we no longer want to be parents. I know, I get it. I've been there. Patience runs out, mercy runs out, grace turns to disgrace. And we're like, I don't want to be a parent anymore. But we can't get tired or faint. We have a task to accomplish so that we can appear before God one day and receive the greatest reward because we have led our children to eternity. So going back to the passage that we read in the beginning, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth." Psalms 123, 3 and 4. I find it interesting that children are compared to arrows of archery in this passage. And this has an important meaning. Arrows have a predetermined destination. And our job as parents is to make sure they get to their destination. They are not going to get there on their own. The correct conditions need to exist to get them there. In archery, the arrows that are used must be straight. They cannot be crooked or curved. And I ask you as a dad, are you willing to fight so that your arrows are straight in God's righteousness? Arrows must also be sharp so they can penetrate the target. Dad, are you willing to discipline your arrow in love so that they are always sharp? The arrow will be effective if it is projected in its direction. This will ensure that it will reach God's determined destination. It will be effective if it's stretched with strength. This ensures the distance it will reach. The arrow will be effective if it's released. We need to release it. It needs to be launched. They need to be delivered into God's hands. And that's one of the most difficult things that we need to do as parents. Tell me about it. I've done it 3 times already. You got to release them. You got to let go. You got to let them go. They can't be with you the rest of their lives. You got to let them fly. You got to let them, experience life on their own, and they have to, fall on their faces sometimes, and we got to be there to pick them up, and you got to let them go. And this is true in any stage of their lives. But the next verse in this passage in Psalms says this about our children. Check this out. It says, "Blessed is the man whose quiver is full of them." Quiver is where you store the arrows. "They will not be put to shame when they dispute with enemies at the city gate." See, in old times, disputes were settled at the gate of a city. And if a father did not handle their family correctly, they were put to shame at the city gate. But when you have a quiver full of arrows, when you have children that will honor you because you have done what you were supposed to do, you will not be put to shame. So when we take our Father's legacy and hand it over to our children, the enemy can never shame us. When we've done things according to our Father's will, when we take his legacy, the legacy that he has bestowed on us, and we hand it over to our children, the enemy will not shame us. So I hope you have an amazing Father's Day. If you're a father, keep doing what you're doing. Keep making those mistakes, but not just making the mistakes, keep learning from those mistakes. We all learn from our mistakes, and keep being that transparent person. If you make a mistake, admit it, apologize, and move on. And that'll make you a better father. Believe me, I've been there, and I'm still there. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, amazing weekend. Happy Father's Day. We will talk to you soon. Take care.